Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back to see part 2 of, I think it's going to be a 3-part series now that I've been looking at what I can go over with the options. I want to say first off though, thank you very much to everybody that has subscribed in the last week or so, and all of my subscribers. It's fantastic to see all the people that are enjoying the same things that I am, and that's what makes it worthwhile for me to come out and kind of give you an opinion and give you my thoughts on what I think about the equipment, and to get to know one another here. It's been a really good experience, and I can't thank everybody enough. I just wanted to get that out of the way. So on part 1, we covered the skid steer quick attach, we covered the swift hatch loader, and the third function kit. And today now I'm going to go on to the R14 tires, not in this order now, the self-leveling kit, the quick hitch, and more. But before we go into the rest of the video, I recorded it last weekend on Easter weekend, and as you can see, I'm in my t-shirt now. It went from negative numbers to I believe we're going into plus 24 by the end of the week, so I had to get the equipment out of the bush kind of deal. I have some stuff to do. I'm at home now. I have to do stuff around the house with the tractor before I head back to my other job. I'm off for a little while now into spring. I do log truck hauling for a living. This is the time of year when I get a little bit of a break because the bush is soft, and I can do these videos. So anyway, with that being said, thanks again. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration in a few minutes on why I think the R14s aren't quite as superior in the off-road conditions as the R4s. We'll get to it in a minute. Okay guys, before we get going with part 2 of our Would I Buy It Again video series, I would like to give you all an idea of what I'm going to be getting into for part 3. And it'll consist of the RCK 54. I have a 54-inch mid-mount mower. So after 200 hours, 2 years, would I buy it again? And also the BH70 backhoe. I've used it quite a bit, and I will give you my opinion and also a demonstration on how to take them on and put them off and how hard it is for episode 3. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy part 2 of the Would I Buy It Again episode. Okay, now I'm going to go on to the self-leveling kit, and I had to bring back just the L2501 without the self-leveling kit to do a demonstration on the rollback capabilities of the bucket. So when you purchase, if you purchase a self-leveling kit, which consists of these 2 arms on each side of the loader arm, and what it does is it removes the cylinder's attachment point from the loader arm and hooks it up with these other 2 little other arms, okay? And it keeps your bucket or your pallet forks at the same angle to the ground all the way out through its cycle. Without that, it doesn't. So what I'm going to show you is the rollback now on the bucket is far more than what it is on the self-leveling. So if you're doing a lot of pallet fork work and a lot of, even the grapple, it works really nice for picking up a log and it stays straight up and down. And where I noticed the self-leveling exceeds is in lowering something. So when you have that thing at the maximum capacity, when you go to lower that valve, it's been really good as far as it goes for being able to control your level on the way up, where you can curl back and keep it going. But when it's at the end of its capacity, to let it down gentle, once you touch that loader valve on, it tends to really drop fast. And when it does that, you have a tendency of bobbing, you know, when you want to roll or curl your bucket it gets things going fairly rapid. So with the self-leveling, it takes that out of the equation altogether, because all you have to do is override, everything's coming down nice and level. But like I say, you do lose the curl back. So I'm going to show you on the 525 with the snowbank, because we still got snowbanks, on what I mean. The thing is, when you have a bucket full of heavy material or a pallet that's very heavy, that's when it becomes harder, and that's where the self-leveling comes in and takes over. So what I'm going to do now, because I only have the one bucket out here, I'm going to... back to the skid steer quick attach here. Make sure our foot's in there. We always want to make sure that that's locked. So, what I'm going to demonstrate now is the curl with the bucket. That's it. That's what you'll do. So, take off. No danger of that ever spilling back on the hood like you seen the other. So where this thing now, if it has a full grapple full or a full bucket full, where it's nice is the setting down. So now when I go to lower my bucket, it's like that. There's no, it's not jerky whatsoever. So that's where I do find it nice, is the lowering. So would I buy the self-leveling kit again? For my application, by using pallet forks and even lowering heavy logs with my grapple, yes I would, but it's not for everybody. So as you can see too, once you get up to a certain point with your bucket, you can curl it back some more. But if you're doing strictly loader work with the bucket, I probably wouldn't spend the extra money on it. That's my opinion. Okay guys, later on in the video I'm going to get to the R14 versus the R4. So what I'm starting off with right now, and we'll see it later on in the video, is the R14s have a 4-ply rating on the rear. Now I moved my chain out of the way so we could see it, but this is the R14 Goodyear that comes on the B2601. And I just want to show you that I don't believe that these are quite as tough as the R4 Industrials. Now, it's the rear tires only that are different. Both front tires have a 4-ply rating, both the R4 and the R14, but the rears are different. So here we have now if you can see the 6-ply rating on the R4. So if this gives you an idea of why and what I discuss later on in the video. So another question that I've got in the comment section in the last video was, do I like the R14 tires? So because of all the shortages and stuff, I think that the tires are a hard thing to come by these days still. At the time of purchase, I ordered the R14s because it was the rage, so to speak. But my dealer didn't have them in, so he sent me home with these R4s. I was able to get the tractor before the tires come in, so anyway, we worked out a deal. I bought both sets after having the R4s. So, the reason being, the R4, when I'm mowing and going across my lawn, it's a much flatter tire. And in the spring, the summer, and the fall, I find they work fantastic. They're great on the grass, they're great on the lawn, there's no damage to anything. So, the R14s, as you can see, they're a much rounded tire, much more rounded tire, and they're a little more aggressive, as you can see the dirt in the tracks here. In the winter, these are phenomenal. They grab really good in the snow, but I find when I get into next week or this time of the year when it starts to get mild, they do sink quicker. What that tells me is they're more of a ground engaging tire, so closer to your R1 than they are to the R4, because I believe they're a mix between the two. One other thing I did notice, and I'll probably put it in, is the ply rating. I did take a picture at home because I do have my tires at home for the summer. The plies in the R14, this back here, is a 4-ply rating tire. On the R4s that come with the tractor, they were a 6-ply rated. So I have heard and seen on other videos that people sometimes had punctured their R14s when they were out in the bush. And I think that the reason being is they are only a 4-ply tire compared to the 6 of the R4 Chief, or these are Carlisle, made in the States, track Chiefs that come with my Kubota, and these are a Goodyear. These are a Goodyear R14. So there's a difference there. They're both made in the United States of America. The tire, so they're not a cheaply made tire in any way, shape, or form, but they do not have the same ply on the R14s. Now, you see I have Trigg. These are Trigg made in Sweden tire chains on here. If you're going to run chains, and this is after having the tractor now for 2 years, the R4s will work. Where that flat pattern doesn't really do well is in the mild snow conditions, because it really packs it quick and it really makes your surfaces slippery, where the R14s tend to grab a little bit better. But like I say, would I spend the extra money on the R14s at the time of purchase? Depending on my application. So if you're running tire chains, which I do have them on the R14s, I love these tires in the winter. But if you're buying tire chains anyway, you're going to get away quite comfortably with the R4s, because the R4s, I believe, are a more multi-purpose tire, to me anyway. And if you're going to run chains, the R4s will really do a good job for you. And with the extra ply rating, they're less susceptible to punctures and stuff. So would I spend the extra $1,000? I think it was $1,000 option too to go up to the R14s. Would I spend the extra $1,000 on buying the R14s again? Probably not, because the R4s with the chains will give me that year-round tire. So with that being said, if you're going to run chains on most compact tractors, there's not enough space between the fender and the tire. So what I did was I had purchased at the time the 2.5-inch wheel spacers. Would I get them again? Yes, you need them. Something to think of if you're going to run chains. If you're up here in Canada where we have winter, it's April, it's Easter, hey, and we've got snow all over the place, and there's still about 2.5 feet of snow in the bush. So you're going to need those wheel spacers if you want to put chains on. Now, on to our next option. I purchased, and I'll move this axe out of the way. I got this handy dandy, made in Canada, Durant chainsaw axe. You can see I haven't had to do only a couple little poundings with it. It's still pretty shiny, but it's good to have on the tractor with my wedges. And I got this little chainsaw holder off of Amazon. It was $100, but it works well. And I keep my little chainsaw wrench in there, and I keep a wedge, and I keep my axe on the opposite side. So back to factory options. Here is where your rear remote locations are. They come in very handy if you have a snow blower, or like I do on right now, a hydraulic top link. And if you want to come around here and focus down in on the quick couplers. Now, if you only get one rear remote, where the yellow and the blue are, there's ample room to get your hand in around to hook up your quick connects. No problem. Where you're going to run into trouble is I bought the 2 remotes because you never know what you're going to get into down the road. The quick connect is underneath, if you can see that, is underneath the roll bar. And it's very difficult to hook that white connector up. So one set of rear remotes I would highly recommend. The second set is fine if you're willing to get your hand in around a roll bar the way that I do. I don't take the hydraulic top link off very often, but that's why I already have them there. And if I want to run either rotation on a snowblower or deflection on a snowblower, or if you have grading attachments where you can angle and twist. So there again, guys, it's a little over $1,000 for the rear remote options. I think it was $1,200 for the 2 or $1,300 for the 2. Again, that was back in 2021. Would I get them again? I would definitely get one. The second set, with the little tractors, I haven't had to use it very often yet, depending on your application. Absolutely, I would go with one set for sure. The second set, I'm not sure if I would have to recommend that to everybody. So I'll just give you a little demonstration on how quick and easy they work. Now I do have it hooked up to number 2, and here's my hydraulic top link. So there it's in, there it's out. Nice and easy. So that also makes it very handy when we're going to go to my next attachment. Now, I did not purchase this with the tractor, but I think it should be mandatory on all. So what I mean by that is this quick hitch. I absolutely love it because I do have a snowblower. I have a rotary cutter, a land plane rotary cutter. I have a cultivator. I have a little set of discs. And as you see on here, I have a winch. I have a landscape rake. All of those things that I have just mentioned are quick hitch compatible, and it's something that I've learned to look for while I'm purchasing attachments for the back. So even though this winch isn't completely, if you want to come here, it's not completely quick hitch compatible. I would say it's semi-compatible because it's the right width on the FX Wallenstein FX40 winch for hooking the bottom 2 links up. And what I had to do was use the floating top link. I had to drill a hole 3/4 inch or 7/8, whatever it may have been for my top pin. Or 3/4 inch pin, I drilled a little bit bigger so you can put it in easier. because the hook won't quite reach, and even with the pins in the upper position, it doesn't work with my quick hitch. Now, not saying it's not going to work with a Land Pride or another manufacturer. I picked this thing up at Princess Auto, which is their Canadian version of Harbor Freight for all my American friends, for a little over a couple $100. Absolutely love it, because on the B01 series, they do not give you telescoping arms. So hooking your implements up all the time can be a little bit frustrating, a little hard on the toes, a little hard on the heel to get things lined up, where the quick hitch takes that out of the equation. And like I say, with the hydraulic top link, absolutely wonderful for getting that top hole lined up. I can stand here on the side, like I'll show you again. Lower my 3-point hitch. Now I can move that in and out of the needs when I'm hooking up, and it's really, really good. So another thing I bought from the dealer was the Canopy. I can't believe we've had 5 sunny days in a row up here. It's been really wonderful. So as far as it goes for shade, excellent. When the snow blower's on, it doesn't do much as far as protection when it's snowing, but it does keep a little bit off of your head. Where I would not recommend the Canopy is if you're in very tight trails, or you're going through the bush trying to do logging of any sort, because when you're sitting in the seat, you can't see what's above you, and you're very susceptible to smacking it with limbs or low-lying branches or whatever it may be. This unit does, though, come off with one nut. One nut here. Well, actually it's 2 nuts, because I have a lock nut to keep it from turning off. So you take your lock nut off, you spin that, and with the help of a friend, because it's awkward, it's not heavy, it's just awkward, you could take that off in just a matter of a minute or so. So would I recommend this? Well, kind of. I'm sitting on the fence here, because when you're trailering, if you don't trailer it backwards, it could put a lot of wind against it. It does. I like it in the summer, but it wouldn't be a need to have, and it's affordable to pick up after the purchase. So at the time of purchase, you really wouldn't have to go that route. You'll save yourself close to $1,000 Canadian here. But eventually, if you feel like you need it, well, fill your boots. One thing, now that we're on the roll bar, this little knob right here on the side. So with the B01 series, they do not come with this anti-rattle knob. And if you look on the small BX, its little brother, they come with 2 of them. But this thread nut is already on the rollover, or on the roll bar. If you're at the dealer, I think it's around 20 bucks. Pick it up, or get a bolt that's an M12, I think it is. You'll definitely want that, because without that knob keeping that roll bar from rattling, it's going to drive you absolutely nuts. Another thing that's really cheap, and not cheap, but it's something that I love on the tractor, because it's got such a really good power steering in it, is my spinner knob. When I'm doing loader work, it's so nice and easy to spin that wheel real quick, and it gets you going around your piles and your tight areas really good. So that's just another option. So anyway, guys, I know this video is getting on a little bit long, but what I wanted to do was bring an opinion to everyone on the time of purchase, what you think you may or may not need, and what's up and down. And like I said, I'm not affiliated with Kubota Tractor in any way, shape, or form, although I do love them. I highly recommend them to everybody. They far exceed my expectations on a daily basis. This little fella here, it'll lift things that I never thought it would. It'll pull things that I never thought a small tractor would. After almost 200 hours and 2 years later, would I purchase this again? Absolutely. This is my little right arm. Love the B01 series completely, because It's handy around the house, and it's handy in the bush, and it's everything that I've been asking it to do, it's been doing fantastically. But the other options, guys, it's up to you whether to get. Like I say, these are my own personal opinions. I believe Chris over at Huckabones has did a video saying the negatives about the self-leveling as well. He's really good to deal with. He'll give you the honest opinion. He's not your typical salesman where he's going to try and sell you something you don't need. I was the one who asked for these extra options on the tractor, and now I can give you my evaluation at the end of the 2 years of using them and my experience. I hope it helps you out when you're buying your stuff. And thank you very much for subscribing. It really motivates me out here to get more videos going your way. And the comments are coming in very nice, and I love it, guys. Have yourself a good Easter weekend. Don't eat too much, and we'll catch you on the next one.